Exchange. Hopefully, this will be the first of many. I am Joyful Ndluli. I'm with the IAU Office of Astronomy for Development, and I will be the host for today. We are still allowing quite a few people are still joining us, but we would like to get started so we don't run behind schedule. So to get us started, I'd like to invite Kevin Govender to just give us welcome and opening remarks.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thanks very much, Joy, and thanks for putting together this meeting. I think there's been a lot of people registered. We're really glad to see that. The whole purpose of this session today is to try and bring together the global community around the subject of astrotourism. From the OED side, we've always seen ourselves as trying to facilitate this idea. It's an idea that we have seen how it can drive economic development, and we want to continue driving economic development globally using this resource that happens to be most abundant in terms of the night sky. There's the most access we have to the night sky is in some of the most rural parts of the world, and we want to see how we can help to drive the subject of astrotourism globally, learn from each other, try to support each other, and at the end of the day, we want to help use astronomy and all its aspects to make the world a better place. So I'm really grateful for everyone for joining, for registering, and grateful to Joyful and our colleagues at the OED for putting this together. Let's make it a dynamic discussion. Let's try and learn from each other, and also try and figure out who's not in the room so that we can get more conversations happening, and then hopefully we can grow this and use astrotourism for a better world. So thank you very much, Joy. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you, Kevin. That was very short and sweet. So like Kevin mentioned, this is supposed to be a community event, a community exchange event, and I've seen some people have already started introducing themselves in the chat in terms of where they're from. So just to get us started, I'd like to get a sense of who is with us today and who has joined us. So I have put out a poll that I'd like everyone to answer to. It's just telling us where you're from and what field best described you. So I'll give it a minute for everyone to just quickly answer these two questions, and we can now, get to know each other and know where everyone is based. So while we're waiting for everyone to reply to the poll. So the next item on the agenda, I will give a brief overview of the OED Astrotourism Flagship Project. And thereafter, we have 3 people who have volunteered to give us a brief overview of what they're doing. So we'll hear insights from India, we'll hear some insights from Greece, and then we'll also hear some from South Africa. And then thereafter, we'll have an open discussion where we can share ideas, resources, just have an open engagement around the topic of astrotourism. And so I see there's still more people answering. So only 26 out of 48 people have answered this poll so far. So I will give it another 10 seconds and then I will start my presentation. So I'll just prepare my presentation while we wait for everyone to answer the poll. Okay, I actually wonder if I can continue while the poll is ongoing. I've never actually done this at the same time, but it should be fine. Okay, so I am going to share my screen and sound. Oh, okay, so again, welcome to our Astrotourism Community Exchange. It's the first of hopefully many to follow. And the idea of the session is to basically connect astronomy, tourism, culture, and development. And next slide. Okay, so normally this slide is buried very deep in our presentations, but I thought for the first time in a while, I will start with the faces of the OAD so people can see who the OAD people are, and then after that, I'll get into the more detailed stuff. So as you've just heard from our director, Kevin Gavenda, and then we have our deputy director, Charles Takalana, and then we have Nuha, who is our office manager. And then I'm sure some of our past projects and currently funded projects will know Ram, who is in charge of our operations. And then there's myself, who coordinates the flagship projects. And then we have Dominic, who does our Astronomy for Mental Health flagship project. And then we have Azasiwa, who does our monitoring and evaluation for those who have been engaged in the projects. And then also we have Zodwa, who does operations for the Hack for Dev flagship project as well. So the OAD basically is made up of 4 core projects. We have our annual call for proposals, but we also have 3 flagship projects that fall under various themes. So the first theme looks at socioeconomic development through astronomy. We have a second theme that looks at science diplomacy through astronomy, as well as a third theme that looks at astronomy skills for development. So the first flagship project is on astrotourism. So the focus is on how astronomy and tourism can be used to boost local economies. And then we have a second flagship project that looks at mental health, and the focus on that is how we can use astronomy as a tool to support mental well-being. And the third flagship project looks at astronomy for skills, and that focuses on how we can use astronomy skills and knowledge to either do skills development or tackle developmental challenges themselves. And then our flagship projects are basically made up of, we've organized everything to be in a ecosystem. So we have 4 key pillars that make up this dynamic ecosystem that provides tools, knowledge, networks, as well as all of the information that is necessary to transform astronomy into a driver for positive change for individuals and communities across the globe. So our ecosystem is made up of resources. It's also made up of training component, implementation, and a community. So for this specific presentation, I'll be focusing mostly on the astrotourism part of this. So if we look at this. So our Astrotourism flagship project, the aim is to leverage astronomy and tourism to drive economic growth, social inclusion, and cultural preservation. So if you scan this QR code, it will just send you directly to our Astrotourism website for more information and details about the flagship project. But then also within the flagship project, we basically have 4 pillars that make up our Astrotourism flagship project itself. So one focuses on economic development. The second looks at cultural preservation with social inclusion. And then we also have environmental sustainability as well as bridging inequality divide. So basically this is mostly now looking at the flagship project. We're not only focusing on just stargazing and taking people to look at the night sky, but rather we want to support a community-driven astro experience that creates local economic opportunities, celebrates indigenous and cultural sky knowledge, as well as promote protection of dark skies and natural environments. But at the same time, we see astrotourism as a way to connect people across social and economic divides through a shared sense of humanity under the stars. So in terms of our community, the community brings together individuals who share a passion or profession to learn, collaborate, and grow. So we have an online platform where people can engage with each other and peer learning, but we also then communicate with each other through our mailing list and our social media. So we have newsletters, announcements, as well as opportunities that are shared via these platforms. So if you haven't already, you can join our Discord channel, and this is open to anyone who's interested in astrotourism, the Astronomy for Mental Health flagship project, or any of the other initiatives we have at the OED. So this is just a short, brief overview of how our Discord platform looks like. So I'll just play it quickly. Hello there, and welcome to our Discord server. So after joining the server, you will land on our welcome page, where it just gives you an overview of what to expect on the server. So within the server, we have an Astrotourism Community of Practice, Astronomy for Mental Health Community of Practice, as well as our monthly full moon mashups server. And if you go to the Astro for Dev community, so this is dedicated to people who are just interested in general astronomy for development, but we also share news in terms of funding opportunities for projects and initiatives that are related to astronomy for development. We also have our announcements that go out to our community, as well as resources, and also a dedicated page on how we can assist. And then if you are interested in astrotourism, you would then go to the Astrotourism Community of Practice. And here you can introduce yourself, tell us what you're doing, what your project is on. And then we also have a dedicated discussion channel where we have anything astrotourism related to discuss. So if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to drop it here and people will have a discussion around that. And all of the events that happen that are related to astrotourism, not necessarily just from the OED, but other events that you might be hosting as well, you're more than welcome to share them here. And if you're interested in collaborating with people, you can leave information on your project and say what kind of collaborators you're looking for, and this would be the ideal space for that. And if there are any resources in astrotourism that you'd like to share, this would be the ideal channel for you to do it in. And not just from the OED, but other people can also leave their resources. And then again, there's a dedicated channel for questions and help or assistance. And we also have a special channel for astrotourism in Spanish. And this was mostly because one of our regional offices, which is a speaking Spanish office, is very active in astrotourism, and we wanted to accommodate them in the space as well. And then similar for the Astronomy for Mental Health flagship project, you will find similar channels for you to discuss and get information. And yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy this platform and also engage with each other on it. It's meant for everyone, for the community, as a space to network, to engage, as well as to collaborate. Okay, yeah, so like I said, if you haven't already joined our Discord community, please feel free to scan the QR code. Or I will share the link in the chat for you to just click on it. The easiest way to deal with Discord is to just install the app, because the web-based version of it is just very difficult to keep up with notifications and stuff like that. And then next slide. So in terms of our community as well, so we are also working on collecting data about astrotourism projects and initiatives around the world. This is to help us understand astrotourism landscape globally, but also so people can also showcase what they're offering in the respective parts of the world. So if you are running an astrotourism initiative and you haven't completed our survey, you're also welcome to do that. It's an ongoing collection of this project. So I invite you all to please share the work that you're doing, and we'd love to grow our map to showcase where all of the astrotourism activities are taking place. And then again, in terms of community, so for today's session, when I did this map, it was actually yesterday, so we hadn't actually had all of the people registered, but we have just over 200 people who are registered for today's session, which also just shows that a community for astrotourism is needed and people are interested in it, interested in it. So yeah, here it just shows the top 5 countries in which people who have registered are from. Please do not take this as a sign of competing. We're all very happy to have you all join us from different parts of the world. If I haven't included your country in the map, it's probably because you registered after I had actually done this map. But I will probably do an updated version of it at the end of the session so we can just showcase where everyone is from who had shown interest to be part of this session, but also just joined us today as well. Okay, and then we also mentioned that the ecosystem comprises of resources. So our resources are basically open access. They are they're there to basically support individuals, organizations, and institutions in designing and implementing astrotourism and all of the other flagship projects. But basically, these resources, I actually had a look at them just the other day, and maybe I find them useful because I'm not in the astrotourism space, but then they're open to anyone. And if there is feedback or like comments you'd like to add in terms of what should be added or what should be removed in the resources, we're always open to hear that. But we also have resources from our past funded projects. So those who have created resources while they were implementing the projects, we make those resources available for everyone. And then in terms of case studies, like I said, we have that global survey that is happening. So we ask questions, and from that, we're trying to like sort of kind of extract what lessons they've learned, what works, what are the challenges, and hopefully that could assist to those who are interested in doing their own thing. But then there's also in the form of publications where people can also then publish the work that they're doing, and then we try to like compile all of these resources so you can have access to them. And then obviously the resources from our flagship projects would include these current existing ones. So if you are interested in any of these resources that are shown on the screen, the QR code will send you to where the resources are located, but otherwise you can just go to our main astrotourism.astro4dev website, and you would be able to access all of this. And then in terms of training, so that's also a key component within our ecosystem. And we've created an online training course that is open to anyone. So please note that this does not give you official certification that you are now qualified to become an astrotourism or you're an astrotourism expert, but we're just trying to basically translate the information that was in our PDF and our digital resources into something that you can do in conjunction with. So the course is just basically trying to introduce people to astrotourism and how they would go about setting up an event or creating their own experience. And then in terms of training as well, so in addition to the online training, we're also open to doing tailored training sessions where we partner with other organizations so they can have in-person training. So this is very important when it comes to the technical skills that you can't get on an online course. Like, you know, if you're going to use telescopes, someone teaching you how to use telescopes, you can't do that on an online course. But also other technical things that you wouldn't necessarily get on an online platform. This would be an ideal place where we host workshops on. So this picture is currently being overused by myself, but I love it so much. And until I get the next picture, this will be showing up in all of my slides. But this was taken at an astrotourism workshop that took place in Botswana in March, actually. And so these were all people, I mean, these were tour guides and also tour guide students who we had a astrotourism workshop for. So that was like introducing astronomy to what they currently are already doing. So that was a very interesting experience. And we'd like to do more of this, whether it's in partnership with the OAD or regional offices or just the broader Astronomy for Development community. So if you're someone who wants to do a in-person astrotourism guide training and you feel like you need support, you can always reach out to the OAD and we can try and get contacts that can like assist you or support you in your efforts. And then in terms of implementation, so this is the last part of our ecosystem. So this is mostly done through our annual call for proposals. So every year we have an annual call, which is currently still open, where individuals and organizations from around the world propose projects that use astronomy to address a problem or a challenge related to development. So astrotourism is one of the key focus projects, I mean, themes or focus areas in terms of our annual call for proposals, but you're not limited to it. There's also other things you can come up with. So to date, we've supported 254 projects in 113 countries. We've invested 1.5 million euros and we've successfully implemented 14 calls and our 15th one is currently open and ongoing. So this is just a geographic representation of all of the projects we've funded. And because we are mostly on astrotourism, I thought I would highlight the astrotourism project. So we've funded projects that have been implemented in 17 countries to date. We've invested over 100,000 euros in astrotourism projects. I'm sure some of the past funded projects or current funded projects are in the chat. They can tell you a bit more about their projects. But then these projects are focused on different things, be it training or integrating astrotourism into existing tourism offerings, but others have looked at course development and also creating a scientific tourism route as well, where you move from one country to another country to see specific science institutions like your observatories and stuff like that. So like I said, in terms of implementation, our annual call is opened. The deadline is the 31st of May. So today's the 27th. You have 4 days if you're interested in submitting a proposal. I encourage people to do so. So the stage one is not very detailed. So it's a very short proposal that you can go through to submit an idea. And then, yeah, hopefully you get funding for for implementing your project. Yeah, so that brings me to the end of this presentation. Yeah, if you need more information, you can either email the OED directly at info@astrofordev or specifically to the Astrotourism email address at astrotourism@astrofordev.org. And then we have our main website as well as our dedicated Astrotourism website that just focuses specifically on astrotourism related things. So with that, it brings me to the end of the presentation. And so now we'll hear a bit from people who shared interest in sharing the work that they're doing. But, oh, no, I should not be sharing. Oh boy. Okay. I was having a technical glitch over there. But again, so when Kevin actually was busy giving the introductory, he did say that we should think about who are the people that we're missing in this room. So we've seen, if you look at the people that are present now, who do you think should be here? Who are we missing? Who should we invite in such engagements? So while we do that, there's another pop-up poll there that says who is missing in this room. So should we have, policymakers? Should there be people in the tourism sector? Like, who do you think we should have more in our kind of engagements? So I will allow people to leave answers and responses. I will give it a minute or so. And while we're doing that, I will ask Shweta to please prepare her presentation. Maybe you can start sharing your screen so far, Shweta, and then you can get started soon. So I didn't ask for your bio because I didn't want to have to read this long thing. So maybe you'll also tell us a bit about yourself and what you do, and then you can introduce us to your project as well, if that's fine with you, Shweta.
Yeah, I was talking to you earlier about mute and unmute. Now I'm having a technical glitch again, sharing the screen. So
I know. Okay. Well, I guess you're giving people to answer my poll question while you're trying to figure out how to share your screen. I have faith in you. Yay. Okay. So this is not the whole, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, so you can get started.
all right. Yeah, first of all, I just want to tell everyone that whatever Joyful just told you that Office of Astronomy Development does, like you should have listened to that carefully, and please note down everything that she said, because that is basically the secret of my success, to be honest. Office of Astronomy Development has been one of the biggest supporters I have had in my journey, especially in pivoting and figuring out where I wanted to be down the line. I have been a science communicator for over than 15 years now, especially in astronomy. I'm based in Pune, Maharashtra, India, but I have traveled across in my pursuit of popularization of astronomy. And rather than just telling about myself and the projects I have done, I sort of wanted to just share my learnings with you. In 2021 and 2022, I was funded by Office of Astronomy Development for the AstroTribe project. You can find more information about that. But from there until now, I have learned so much, and I can see many people in this meeting as well who will be able to benefit from what I have to say, hopefully. So I used to think that astrotourism was basically about helping people look up, when people look through the telescope, look at Saturn for the first time, or helping them experience the dark skies, helping them reconnect with the wonder in general. And in many ways, astrotourism is about all of that. But while working in rural India, I slowly realized that something unexpected was happening. The people who already lived under the dark skies, the extraordinary skies, were often unable to look up at all because they were busy looking for jobs. They were busy looking for water, for roads, for basic amenities, and for opportunities that would help their children from leaving their villages in pursuit of income. And this changed the question completely. The challenge was no longer about how do we bring astronomy to communities, but it became more about, can astrotourism help communities build a future underneath the stars? Because in developing countries, wandering alone, it is not enough. And in India, governments are balancing issues such as hunger, migration, infrastructure, energy, employment. So when I would walk into the room and talk about the stars, the room admired the idea. But then when we spoke about tourism, local jobs, skill development, regional identity, the room actually began listening differently. And I think that was one of our biggest lessons, that astrotourism survives when it becomes relevant to the life on the ground. And that sort of forced us to evolve, because suddenly astronomy alone was not enough, and scientists spoke conservation, government spoke development, communities spoke survival, and tourists spoke experiences. And astrotourism existed at the intersection of all of this. So I began realizing that astrotourism is not a single discipline. It is inherently interdisciplinary, and it demands people who are willing to think across the systems instead of within silos and their own boxes. In many ways, that is where my entrepreneurial mindset, I would say, became unexpectedly valuable, because entrepreneurs are constantly looking for gaps, right? So, gaps between people, between sectors, between incentives and ideas, of course. And much of our work became about identifying these gaps and building bridges between them. Not just organizing astronomy experiences, though I really thoroughly enjoy that myself, but connecting science with tourism, conservation with development, and communities with opportunity is, I think, what basically counts. One of the most powerful lessons came from working directly with the communities. So we realized that people do not protect dark skies because astronomers ask them to. They protect them when astrotourism creates ownership. So instead of bringing tourism to villages, we began helping villages become the part of tourism itself. So local youth became astro guides, storytelling became part of astronomy, and science communication became skill development. Slowly, something beautiful started happening. These communities stopped seeing the night sky as empty space, but began seeing it as a possibility. So astrotourism stopped being seen only as outreach and started being understood as regional opportunity. In Maharashtra, this ecosystem approach helped initiate conversations at the state level around dark sky preservation and astrotourism development. And today we are in the process of developing 11 pilot dark sky sites across Maharashtra, which will get certified by the Dark Sky International, hopefully, as potential astrotourism destinations. What is especially interesting is how different departments sort of began engaging with the idea for different reasons. The tourism department began exploring certification with Dark Sky International and the destination development for astrotourism, of course. The environment department started communication with the central government for dark sky preservation, and now the discussions around responsible outdoor lighting and dark sky policy are also evolving alongside the energy department. Even the Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra publicly acknowledged last year the importance of dark sky preservation and vision for the future state level dark sky policy, which I'm proud to say that I get to be part of to work on. And for me, this became one of the clearest examples of how astrotourism can evolve beyond tourism itself. Astronomy became the entry point for me. Then astrotourism created developmental relevance, and that relevance opened the doors for conversations for conservation to enter into policy conversations at scale. So before this journey, I used to think dark sky preservation and astrotourism were separate conversations. Today, I see them as deeply interconnected because conservation becomes very difficult when communities are excluded from its benefits. But astrotourism changes that equation. It creates participation, it gives governments the developmental relevance and communities the economic ownership. And it gives conservation something extremely important. It gives long-term survivability, sustainability. And this is why I no longer see astrotourism simply as tourism built around astronomy. I see it as a bridge between science and society, between rural communities and opportunity, and between preservation and development. And perhaps this is the real opportunity before us, not only protecting the dark skies, but building systems where protecting them becomes valuable to the people living beneath them. You can see our mission on the screen there and the QR code if you want to get in touch with me. If you're developing a project proposal for the Office of Astronomy Development in Maharashtra, in India, I would be happy to help you out. Please do connect, scan this QR code, and I'd love to look forward to the other presenters and having more discussions with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shweta. That was very, very insightful. I think every time I hear you speak about your work, I just get inspired. Yeah, so if you have questions for Shweta, I would like to either redirect you to the chat, but also we'll have an open discussion soon. So you can either just note them down and then we can ask them then, or you're just more than welcome to just ask it directly in the chat. For now, I'd like to move on to our next speaker, Greta, who will be telling us about her astrotourism project that is in Greece.
So, hello also from me. Really, Sweta's presentation was inspiring. Based on the guidelines she presented, I'm going now to follow with our presentation. As you know, my name is Greta Metaxa, and I'm responsible for the Starlight Bridges Astrotourism Community Project that is being implemented in central Greece. Here you can see it. It is a mountainous rural area with exceptional dark skies, but with some, let's say, serious problems. It's one of the most mountainous underdeveloped regions. Population goes through aging crisis, schools are closing, climate change affects winter tourism, women are underrepresented in workforce, and the STEAM education is quite poor. But we have the campfire of what? And due to this, we can go on with our projects, and we are very thankful and grateful to Ad and all the team who are very, very polite, very helpful, and we can cooperate the best way with them for our project, which is based on the Artemis Space Observatory and the reference club. And we are depending on this infrastructure, and I think that Dimitris Deligiorgopoulos, the president of the observatory, is here with us now. We also thank a lot the municipality of Karpenisi, which stands by us, solving all organizational details, and what we need is very eager to go and solve it. I would also like to thank the Educational Center for Environment and Sustainability of Karpenisi, and Mr. Kopanakis. I think he's also with us for all the support and help. And of course, the Greek of astronomy for outreach. So here is the exceptional dark sky of Karpenisi. This is an asset, and we based our project on that, of course. On this night sky, more or less seasonable, we can watch and observe the constellations. And through the constellations, we can talk about culture, mythology, we use storytelling. And of course, we can also observe planets, stars, nebula. So through these, we are talking about science, exploration, education. So night sky really reconnects people in nature and culture and science in an holistic way that started and began when our civilization began to evolve some centuries ago. Additionally, we all know that the narratives of our lives, go through a collection of stories. That's more or less why all people love tourism. And if these stories include altruism, pleasure, connections, they are really meaningful. Night sky gives this authenticity, therefore, it can really cause a transportation in us. So here it comes tourism, and it can give a really identity that is called astrotourism and can lead to community development. This is the vision we have in our project and is based, of course, on OAD's guidelines. I'm not going to be very extensive. I'm just going to show you now the key activities that have already been complemented. We have already done 2 astro training workshops focused on local youth, women, and educator to become astro guides, storytellers of the place, and ambassadors of the night sky. Of course, we are countering some problems, and we're still working on that. We have translated and implemented in Karpenisi's reality the OAD Astrotourism Toolkit. We have restored and we are focusing and relying on this restoration on the Artemis Observatory, which is going to continue its voluntary giving concerning the observation of the night sky. And now we are focusing on the main event of our project in August, our Dark Sky Festival. And after that, we will continue with the school visits from September to November based on STEM outreach. In our projects, we also include some innovations since we are in the 21st century anymore. We are designing a starlight path. It is half completed. That's why it has 2 colors. And we are also designing a starlight stamp. The starlight path, it will be a stroll within Karpenisi, where we are going to have in scale our solar system, and using augmented reality, the planets will be merged in front of us and having some information. We think that this will attract quite a lot of tourists. Here is our website. Please visit it. Please connect with us. And of course, all of you are invited, and later on, within June, I think, we will send you an official invitation. Come with us on the 17th of August in our main flagship event in Karpenisi to experience not only the night sky, but having a background night sky, having as a background the night sky, experience the Karpenisi astrotourism. We hope that we will continue our collaboration and support from your office. Of course, since it's the first of this kind of projects we are implemented, we have some anxiety about how the project can be sustainable after it ends. Can astrotourism maintain authenticity if a lot of tourists are coming? And of course, it's something that we want. But will we maintain the authenticity we want? And the final question I would like to pose is, how can Dark Sky Initiative strengthen community cohesion and environmental awareness if it is involved with astrotourism? Thank you very much again for the time you gave us to present our projects. And of course, we will stay networking and welcome all of you in Greece. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Greta. I hope everyone's bags are going to start getting packed because we're all coming to Greece in August. But yeah, thank you for the wonderful presentation. So instead of Greta being asked questions, she's asking everyone else in the audience questions. So I will just type these questions that she posed in the chat, and then we can all ponder about them. And then during our discussion, maybe we can try assist in answering some of these questions. So now I would like to move on to the last speaker for our official program before we move on to the open discussion. So Monique, I'm handing over to you now. Thank you so much. You are muted.
Thanks very much. Wow, it's really inspiring to listen to Greta and Shweta and how far their projects are and what can be done. We don't have a big presentation today because we're literally at the infancy or the beginning of our project. So I just wanted to share a little bit about what we are doing and sort of lean in towards onto you guys to get more information and inspired by your learnings. So the AstroDev SA project in South Africa is an initiative that focused on using astrotourism as a tool for education, community development, cultural preservation, and sustainable tourism growth. So our project, our pilot project, is focused on the Northern Cape and Karoo regions of South Africa. These regions are home to some of the darkest skies in the world. And we also have a globally significant astronomy infrastructure, such as the SALT and SCAR in the region. But despite these world-class assets, astrotourism is still largely seen as an add-on experience rather than a fully integrated tourism driver. And that's what Astrotourism or AstroDev SA has been created to help change that. So our goal is to transform astronomy from something visitors are simply aware of something that they can actively experience through storytelling, science communication, local culture, and community-led experiences. We've broken our sort of big overarching project into different phases and are currently about to kick off with phase 1, which my colleague Shabnaz has shared a webinar, our first webinar that's happening on the 30th of June, that we're hoping you guys would be interested in signing up on it. But phase 1 is basically focuses on mapping out the astrotourism opportunities in our pilot phase area in the Northern Cape, developing a digital resource hub, and then building a central database of astro guides and tourism stakeholders, because in South Africa, something like that doesn't exist. And we believe by creating a central place other than Discord, where people can go and almost start marketing and sharing their expertise and knowledge across sectors, the industry will grow, as well as training community-based astro guides. So it's also important to note that this project is not only about astronomy. I think Shweta and Greta both speak to this point as well, that it can't just be about astronomy. It's about people, it's about places, and it's about the possibilities that we can create for these people. So the project's about strengthening science literacy, supporting local tourism livelihoods, preserving and integrating Indigenous sky knowledge, and creating a more inclusive economic opportunity for rural communities. Future phases, once we unlock more funding, we're looking at building a national astrotourism visual content library where people can use the footage that we create to further market and stimulate growth in their tourism markets around astrotourism. We're looking at developing community-led destination experiences, focusing on 2 areas in the Northern Cape as our pilot, being Ashcombe and Port Nolloth. We will be working with communities themselves and creating sustainable tourism businesses that they can then run and gain from in the future. And then a national awareness platform, including digital storytelling and educational content. And we do this through bi-monthly or monthly comic newsletters and editorials. So yeah, I mean, what excites us is the collaborative potential that the project has. And I think Shweta and Greta both spoke to astrotourism sitting at the intersection of science, tourism, culture, education, and storytelling. And we believe partnerships across all these sectors are essential to building something sustainable and scalable. We've got the Department of Tourism on board. They're excited to be part of it. They're sharing a lot of their knowledge and contacts and details with us. So we're slowly sort of building on that and starting to look at the private sector and how they can come on board as potential sponsors for various aspects as well, adopting an astrotourism spot or funding a business initiative or footage or shooting, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're interested in connecting with our organizations, researchers, tourism stakeholders, educators, and development partners who would like to collaborate and share insights or explore opportunities together. And we want to do all of this at our first webinar on the 30th of June. And I'm hoping people like Greta and Shweta, and I'm sure a lot of you on this call would be keen to join and offer your insights and learnings so that we can really kickstart a successful project like you've done in India and Greece, here in South Africa in the Northern Cape. So that's me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Monique. So yeah, we've heard from India, we've heard from Greece, we've also heard from South Africa, but we also have a hand that has been waiting since Monique started speaking. So yeah, Christian, I would like to allow you to please unmute yourself. If you can have your camera on as well, that will be great, and we can address the hand you have raised. Christian, can you hear me? Okay. While he is looking for the unmute option, I'm hoping that he can hear me and he just can't unmute himself at the moment. So this session was basically built to be a networking and a community. So if there are other people who would like to share some of the work that they're doing, I'm opening the platform up for everyone or anyone to share. If you're shy, you can just continue adding things in the chat, but also feel free to unmute yourself, switch on your camera, and you can share what you're doing in your country.
I am very excited to know that India is one of the top participating countries in this.
I
Makes
did
me
say it was
so
not a
happy.
competition, Shweta.
Well, I have to make it a competition, hoping that people will ask questions from India, hopefully.
We are not competing, but okay, yes. It is very exciting to see that India has the highest number of people registered for the event. Well, Ram says in the world since he's from India. But yeah, so while everyone else is still thinking about what they can say or introduce, Anna, you have your camera on. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you're working on? Ask to unmute. No. Okay. Greta, you have your hand up?
Yes, I would like to ask Sweta, uh, as I understood, you have 15 years almost working on astrotourism. Okay. Do you have some data showing how astrotourism has been accepted from the clients, from the tourists in your country? And this is focused only in tourists which are domestic or foreigner?
I wish I had proper data. When I said that I've been working in the field for 15 years, I've been like pivoting and jumping, but like within the domain. So in terms of astrotourism, we have done a couple of things. First, I used to organize only stargazing events for public, and many people in India do that. Actually, in Pune, we have the biggest community of amateur astronomers. So I think maybe Joyful, actually, we could work on creating such data from India, because we are only like as away as we can be from taking this effort together. If I alone do it, then it might not work, but OAD and us together in Maharashtra can do it. But just to give you an understanding, Greta, we recently organized a Khagol Darshan Mahotsav, stargazing festival with the government, with the tourism department. And it was 42 degrees Celsius of temperature, and people still visited to observe through the night. They travel across Maharashtra. Some came outside from different states as well. And honestly, as per my data so far, or my understanding, we were expecting only about 600 people to visit, but we got more than 2,000 people to visit. Though it was like geographically not as accessible, both the locations where we organized it, people are quite interested in this. And we also utilize this to create more awareness about dark skies, as with the tourism department, we are developing dark sky destinations as well. And when we start doing that, we'll probably have more data. But historically, I guess Indians have not been really good in compiling all the data at one place. So maybe Joyful, we could work something out together. Ram, I hope you're listening to this as well.
Yeah, no, he can hear you. Yes, we can definitely look into that. Anna, you finally managed to unmute. Would you like to share something? No? Anna, can you hear me?
Joyful.
Okay. I'm sorry. Is someone saying something?
Joyful, I have also another question. Do you
Yes.
think that astrotourism could be in a way combined through your office, of course, with scientific tourism? Because it will be a unique opportunity.
Well, I mean, a couple of years ago, we funded a project by our Southwest Central Asia Regional Office of Astronomy for Development. And they were looking at scientific tourism. So they had actually mapped out all of the astronomical facilities within the Southwest Central Asia region. And the idea was to basically develop a scientific route around those regions. So that could also work in terms of if I mean, I guess the astrotourism part of things would be that they are all astronomical facilities, and you could include then the other activities that one would include, like your stargazings, your storytelling with the communities. But yeah, I think the two can be very complementary, but I leave it to other people to also answer this question as well. Anyone else with thoughts on this?
Yeah, okay, I'll go. Yeah, so I actually have been thinking quite a lot about this, and I also had it in mind to sort of create a route across India where astronomical facilities are located. And when we organized our stargazing events, usually they included like an extra package of visiting a radio observatory or a telescope, for a research facility or something like that. And right now, specifically for this meteorite impact crater that we have, it's called Lonar. It's 8 hours journey from Mumbai, actually in the district called Buldhana in Maharashtra. So this crater has been studied across like many, many years by for geology and for astrobiology. But now I'm thinking that if we develop it as for astrotourism. Was somebody saying something? Okay. So if we develop it specifically for astrotourism, I am thinking to develop it for dark skies, but it could be a part of this scientific tourism where only people who are serious about exploring it scientifically would visit it. And otherwise, the general tourists, if they come, there'll be some restrictions over it as well, because the sanctity of that place can be ruined if it just becomes, like just have fun, just visit. The popularization of that place and scientific importance must be communicated, but I think scientific tourism, astrotourism are like just kind of combined between a sustainable tourism umbrella, I would say. I think Cisco has hands up. Maybe you can share.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm from Namibia. Sorry, I can't show my camera. I'm a bit under the weather, so I'm just recovering from a flu. I find the discussion very, very interesting, and thank you for the platform, for AOD, Joyful, Kevin, and everybody for putting this platform together, and the interesting information from from India, from Greece. It gets me very excited. And I'm actually a researcher from the Namibia University of Science and Technology, and I'm specializing in astrotourism. And when you're talking about scientific tourism, and this is what I've been struggling with as a researcher, specializing in this niche area of tourism, because currently we don't even have a real conceptual understanding of what astrotourism is. And we don't have a concept, because in tourism, stargazing was always, it's an old activity. I mean, we can trace it back to our ancestors. But in the study of tourism, which is a very multidisciplinary, we can see the intersection between community, science, culture. It's very multidisciplinary. And finding a conceptual definition of just astrotourism has been very hard for me, and distinguish what is the difference between dark sky tourism, astrotourism. And sometimes with my research, and I'm trying to write a research paper regarding astrotourism, I keep on interchanging between dark sky, astrotourism. So I think there's a need to get, as part of our community, more researchers in researching and developing this new, it's not really new, but in the study of tourism, it's kind of a new niche, because I don't find many of us in the community of tourism academics going into this field. So we need more collaboration between the science, the multidisciplinary lenses of science, people coming from astronomy, people coming from tourism, people coming from anthropology, and creating this conceptual understanding of what we are trying to understand what astrotourism is, so it can get more recognition within academia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Siska, for your insights. While you're speaking about like multidisciplinary approach to this, there's actually a comment from Mark in the chat that says that while we've spoken about ecology and conservation and the importance of naturally dark skies, there's one piece that no one has brought up yet, which is combining with the humanities, your music, your visual arts, dance, writing, activities inspired by the night sky. So if anyone is doing something that is combining the two, would you like to share some of your experiences in terms of, including music, visual arts, dance, writing, and activities that are inspired by the night sky as one of the activities that you do for astrotourism? I don't want to pick on people, but I will because I can. And I'm looking at one of them right now with their camera on. Yes, you. And he keeps winding up. Oh, now he switched off his camera, so he's disappeared. Yes, you.
Sorry, Joy, I didn't want to interrupt. Could you please repeat again the last part of your question?
So then just talking about including the humanities, so your music, your visual arts, your dance, and stuff like that. So I remember you shared a video on our Discord.
Yeah.
That includes all of those. So I think maybe you can share your experiences around this.
Thank you, and it's an honor for me. And well, we run our own NGO fully dedicated to do astronomy outreach and design astrotourism experiences. And for this, we rely a lot on circus. Yes, on circus. Because of what? We are a team made of 3 brothers, 2 of them, the cool brothers, they are professional jugglers and clowns. And we have found that with clown and juggling, you may reach new audiences that otherwise may feel intimidating by participating in a science activity or astronomy activity. So this has helped us to break the ice, right? And to reach them. But not only that, also, for example, we have been preparing, and I don't know if this is what you meant, Joy. Now we are working Arizona with a family-owned company running astrotourism as well. And now we are adapting what we do, but with the Navajo, and by the way, they don't like to be called Navajo, but the Dine people, right? And bringing the meaning of their constellations, of their perspective, to the experiences. And with this, and with this I'm closing, because I don't like to talk a lot, but what we are really enhancing with this is not astronomy, but empathy. And I think that is quite important for us in 2 ways. In the romantic way, and for us as science communication, and by us, I mean all of us in this Zoom room, that will be more meaningful, but also in a pragmatic way, and please don't judge me for this. Enhancing empathy has a broader market. People are keen to have this kind of experiences, right? So yes, bringing specific aspects of the culture, so your astrotourism experiences are not all the same. You are adapting, and local people find this as a true respect for their culture, and then they engage more with the activity. And of course, as you are running your astrotourism experiences, you must have local people selling their arts and crafts. But not only selling, you're going to incorporate them in the experience. And as soon as you explain the meaning, a bug has the meaning about the creation of the universe, trust me, everyone there is going to buy their arts and crafts. And with this, you are doing what the OAD office is truly looking for. Not only astronomy or astrotourism, but use it for local development. And thanks, Joy, for giving me the chance to talk a little bit about this.
I'm glad you could join us. Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing your inputs. Clowns. I like that. I'd love to see that actually. Yeah, so like Ram mentioned in the chat, please feel free to unmute and join in the discussion. And especially when it comes to what are your main challenges in this and what are your needs? Like we have a community, what is it that you want from this community? And where can the OAD support you outside of financially? In addition to financially, how can we support the community, the astro-tourism community? So yeah, if anyone has anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and go for it. I really feel like every time I look at the screen and everyone else's cameras are on, I just want to peek on people's faces. So now I see Matipon. That means I'm moving on to you.
All
Hi,
right. Hello,
Matipon.
Joy. Hello, Joy. Nice to see you again. So, speaking of challenges, I can talk a little bit about like when I think one of our biggest challenge where if we were to do astrotourism, like would be that there was not a lot of demands, right? And that was one of the big things. So like for us is a very unique. So just like I'm gonna do this really quickly, but I'm from a National Astronomical Research Institute of Thailand. And we're a research institute in Thailand, but we were founded 17 years ago. But before us, there was like nothing astronomy happened in Thailand at all whatsoever. So in that case, there was not going to be a demand. So if we were to do astrotourism right there, it wouldn't make any sense because nobody even like think about looking at the stars. So in the past 17 years, one of the things that our institute does a lot is just raising awareness. So to us, this is a very core part of the astrotourism, and we have been doing this like quite extensively, and we were only able to really start thinking seriously about astrotourism only in the past few years because now we starting having demand. Just to give you an idea of like what the demands are like, now we operate 5 regional observatories for the public. We have like when we first started, I didn't know if people are gonna come to observatories, and now we have like about 50,000 people looking to our telescopes, one of our regional observatories every year. Um, we have planetariums, and we have like 250,000 people seeing through our planetariums. And over like in all activities, we have about over 1 million people each year we do. But yeah, so for us, it's through these things, and we have been building this science awareness and support with the public for the past almost 2 decades now. And so when we finally launched, my colleague was also in this Zoom, he will launch the Azure Dark Sky in Thailand. We went out ourselves and evaluate some of the dark sky sites around Thailand, around the country, and we evaluate them with our institution name. But by this point, this is the name that people are familiar with. So it actually like means a lot of things. It actually for a lot of the people in the industry, the tourism industry, it is like this stamp by our institute. Actually, it's a provide a real economic incentive because they would like us to evaluate them because people know who Narit is, and if Narit, the Astronomy Institute in Thailand, give them a pass, then people are more likely to go. So that has been what we have been doing a lot. I'll just stop there.
And also, he is the owner of that really cool picture that I had that I said I was like obsessed with. He took that picture. Yeah, no, but I actually, while you're busy saying that it was important for Narit to first start with the awareness before you get to astrotourism, I gave a talk on Monday at the CAP conference, and I did specify that the root of Astronomy for Development initiatives is also communicating astronomy as well. So communication plays a key role in terms of making people understand, like, through all of these initiatives, we basically communicate in astronomy. So we have a number of hands up, and the first one is Kunjaya. I think that's how the order is. Yes.
Okay,
Yes. So you can go
thank
first.
you. Thank you, Jeffo. Yeah, I'm currently developing astrotourism in Sabu Island. It's a quite remote island in Indonesia, quite far from our university. So it's very expensive to go there. And next week I will go there again to introduce a kind of astrotourism. Maybe some of you never heard. That is star fishing. Star fishing is a kind of astrotourism which give experience to the tourists. Yeah, how ancient fishermen go to the sea at night time using the stars as their guide for going and return. Because ancient fishermen have no lights, have no internet, have no GPS. How can they guide themselves for going to the sea and go back to their places? So we try to emulate the experience and for the tourists to get experience, adventurous, and also knowledge about astronomy. We teach them about stellar navigation before going, and I hope it can be interesting experience for them. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. That is quite interesting. Starfishing. Okay, my brain was just thinking about it way too long now. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sam, you have your hand up.
Yes, I do. Hi, everyone. I'm Samyukta, or Sam for short. I'm wearing a bunch of different hats. So I was involved with the OAD flagship for a while, and I guess I still am, but I also work for Dark Sky on conservation of the night sky. And I also run an astrotourism business in Kenya, where I'm based. And this interconnectedness is very important to me. But I think lately, one of the things that I've been struggling with is sort of related to a question that Greta posed about the authenticity of the experience and how can rural people maintain an authentic experience when they're selling it. But also, I think at what stage does the cultural knowledge get commodified? I think that's a question that I've been sort of wrestling with myself, and I'm just wondering if anyone has any thoughts.
So now I don't know if the questions, well, if people are going to answer your questions, like, the order of the hands is now now confusing me.
Maybe
So
in the chat.
yeah, maybe you can like leave some of your responses in the chat and then we'll go through the hands. And if you are specifically addressing Sam's question, then you can just add it into your response to her. Yeah, so thank you for that question, Sam. I think everyone will ponder on that and they will give you responses and they will think about it and they'll put their hands up and they will answer you. But for now, we'll move on to Prachi. I don't know if you have something to add on to what Sam said or just a completely different addition to the discussion.
Yes, I just wanted to add some of my experience out of it. My name is Prachi and I'm from Ratnagiri, Maharashtra, close to Shweta. I have seen you in few of the, I don't remember, but few of the lectures. Okay, so in November and December, we have one Gokte College in Ratnagiri. So they had arranged Astrotourism course with the help of Maharashtra Tourism Association. So I had interest in astronomy from childhood itself, but so I enrolled there, and they had given us good, we can say, some insights out of it, because we had not never related astronomy and tourism. So they had given us insights. Dr. Babasaheb Sutar was there, so he had helped us, and he also asked me to join this as well. After that, we finished this, and I tried to conduct few of the lectures in my taluka place, which is far from Ratnagiri, but it has a good dark skies because it is like a countryside in Ratnagiri. So I'm trying to make a good use of it, and joining here has given me better insights. So thank you for this.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you are finding more insights in terms of how to go about this. This was the aim of the session.
Can I quickly say something to her?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Prachi, with the geoglyphs specifically that tourism department is focusing on,
Yes.
yeah, I would love to get in touch with you. So maybe I'll leave my number in the chat to you and we can stay in touch and I can help you out more. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yep. Thank you.
Fantastic. Anna.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, you say Anna?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Okay,
I did.
sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm Ana Maria from Cusco's Planetarium in Peru. We are a private place because Peru has not a lot of planetariums, actually. And even this is a family business. We started 19 years ago. Our first support we get from Astrotourism. Yeah. And with that, we can like have the funds to be the planetarium the city needs. We started with a very small dome of 5 meters. Now we got a bigger one since almost a year ago of 8 meters with 55 seats. And we want to inspire the kids to follow astronomy, that it's only done in a school, like 2 months in high school and 1 month in elementary school. So this is so bad. And we achieved to be in the National Geographic book, the best 100 nights of a lifetime. We are of one of that experience. And I want to tell you that it is a hard road, but it's totally worth it because it's the best job ever, because we work with the stars. Come on. That cannot be better than that. I think every country have a cultural heritage. Some countries really need to, have the indigenous acknowledgement as a flag, right? And it's a challenge, but it's very important that we try to do our best research on it. I know we storytellers we love to create some things that will make more sense in our days, but that's not a good path. We have to be respectful with our ancestors. We have to respect the cultural heritage, especially for not for people that live in the city. We don't have to fall into cultural appropriation. That is very easy to do, and we don't have to do that. We have to do a lot of research. And in name of marketing, because we all need to sail, especially in countries that got high seasonality with like us. We have rain since October, and yesterday we still got rains. Yeah, first have indoors and outdoors activities. That's an advice. But don't do that. I got community managers that make beautiful designs with the moon that looks good, and it was Mercury, for example. So we don't need to do that. Yeah. In the name of marketing, no. I think many people of astrotourism is afraid of scientists, and they should not, because they are our best friends, alliance. I don't know, aliados. I don't know how to say that in English. Yeah, so we have to grow up. We will not grow up without the support of the planetarian community in the world, believe me. They were extremely, extremely nice, helpful, supporting, so our project can grow. So, vamos, adelante, you can do it. It is hard, but you will find your own way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. So like she said, it is hard, but you will find your own way. So I hope everyone who is going through challenges right now, you just remember those words and remind yourself that you will get through all of the challenges. Mark, you have your hand up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me in this call today. For me, this is amazing. I'm a bit of an imposter, I suppose. My role is not around looking at the stars. I'm fascinated by it, but my role is I work for a company called Red Sea Global, based in Saudi Arabia, and we have a number of dark skies locations based on the coast up by the Red Sea. And recently we created an experience where we brought along 5 blind people to our resort to do the most amazing dark skies experience with them, where we used sonification and other tactile elements as well. And we worked with a company in the UK called Tactile Universe. And I'm not sure if they're on the call today. I know they were going to try and join. We've realized, I think there's huge potential with all our activities we do, particularly for dark skies, how we can look to make that work for blind people. But we're also aware that we're very new to this. Our results have literally been open in the last year. So we're creating something very new. And we've got an amazing team who offer dark skies, but we'd like to get any advice or help or direction on how we can expand it. What are ways to try and do that? But also particularly around neurodiversity as well, which we think is another really big area of how do we make it applicable as an experience for people with disabilities as well, to get an understanding of obviously the incredible skies we have. So I appreciate my issues maybe slightly different to other people's here. I'm inspired by what I'm hearing from all of you. It's incredibly exciting. There's so much going on around the world for this. And it'd just be really useful to connect with some of you who might have a previous experience or can give us some direction and guidance on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. Actually, no, your issue is not completely different from everyone else's. Astronomy should be for everyone. The night sky should be accessible, accessed by everyone and anyone. So if anyone does have any thoughts and recommendations for Mark over here in terms of how can we make it more inclusive, I don't know, maybe the easiest way for you would be to maybe drop your email in the chat so people who do come up with thoughts, they can share it with you directly. But otherwise, again, our Discord platform is available for these conversations to continue as well. So thank you so much for posing that. That was actually one of the key things that we didn't discuss in terms of making it accessible to those who can't actually see the night sky. So thank you for bringing that up as well as something that is a challenge in terms of making it as inclusive as possible. So Greta, you have a hand up. We'll have to conclude soon. So I think that'll be the last hand we take.
Since I have various questions, I will continue in Discord, not now, but really it was very worthy hearing all these ideas from Mark, from Samyuakta. Sorry if my pronunciation is not exactly correct. And I hope to continue discussions with you because all this idea could match perfectly with our projects, and we are eager to continue collaboration with you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Greta. Thank you so much for everyone's insights and thoughts and all of the conversation that has been happening in the chat. It was really nice to see all of you join us. So before we come to the end of the session, I'd like to pick on Sam to sort of kind of give us some closing remarks. Oh, wait, before I forget, actually, in the chat, Ram left that the OED is actually planning on having an online astrotourism symposium, so fully online, no one will be in person, towards the end of October, November. So if you are interested, we'd like to know what to focus on instead of just, building a whole symposium and it's not necessary to you guys. So we'll send out I want to say a quick form where you can just tell us what topics should be covered and like what structure the symposium should be like. So something like this, just giving everyone an opportunity to share what they do and instead of just doing it via chat, we'd like to see slides and pictures and, all of the amazing work that you're doing. So we will send out a survey of some sort to sort of kind of get your ideas on how we can build it so that it fits everyone's needs. Otherwise, Sam, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. And hi, everyone. I think this has been a great discussion. I think it was a quiet room at the start, but I'm really happy to see the conversation not just be limited to astronomy, but to really sort of try to bridge the nature and the culture. And a very important piece that I think Monique phrased it really well. She said it's not about astronomy. It's about the people and the places and the benefits that we can create for communities and for both the people giving the experiences and the people receiving them. I think also the question of access that Mark brought up at the end is very, very important. And I think something we should probably all reflect on as we continue, because astronomy is for everyone, it should be for everyone, and the experience of the night sky, as much as it is a visual experience, I don't think it should be limited to people who have vision. I think there are different ways to experience it and interpret it. That's what science does, that's what culture does, and to think about building more bridges between disciplines is maybe something that we can all take from this going forward. I think this is just the beginning of a discussion, not the end of it. So hopefully we can all connect more over the Discord. So if you're not part of the Discord, please join. I think Ram has left a link in the chat. And it's great to meet all of you. And yeah, I'm going to hand it back to Joy.
Thank you, Sam. And I think the final last thing I'd like to share with everyone. Oh boy, I've lost my screen, but I see it now. We are going to have an OAD at 15 symposium next year in February from the 15th till the 17th. So this year, the OAD celebrated 15 years last month, April. Yes, in April, we celebrated 15 years. So we will have a symposium on that. And if you could save the dates and more information will be available, you can just visit the link there. That's where we'll update everything. But you can also just be on the lookout on our Discord platform and our social media platforms. We will keep you updated in terms of the symposium. So just to round things up, like I said, we are looking to hosting an online Astrotourism Symposium, I guess. We'll find a nice name for it. We'll settle on a name, and we will like to hear your inputs and feedback in terms of how it should be structured, because it is for you, not for us. And we would like to just make sure that we capture all of the relevant topics and discussion points that you would like in that symposium. And with that said, thank you so much for joining us today, for taking time out, 90 minutes of your time to just be with us and with the community. We hope this community continues growing, and let's continue the discussions on Discord in terms of sharing resources, sharing lessons learned, best practices, and what challenges we're facing and how we can overcome them. And thank you to our 3 speakers who volunteered to give us overviews of their work. We appreciate it a lot. And yes, I will release everyone to go about your day. Thank you so much.